and before we bounce to news, I've also been playing a lot more of Mario Golf.
Dota 2.
Dota. I mean, I played some Dota 2 this week. Don't get me wrong.
I was playing Chicory on Steam, and it's like, here he is playing Dota 2.
Like, why? I thought he left his life behind. So yeah, we spoke about Mario Golf last week when we had both played like maybe an hour or two. I've since put a lot more time into the game, going so far as to finish the story mode as well, which isn't that long. I'd say, I mean, this is a thumbs up. I don't know how much time I put into it, but maybe 6 hours, maybe 8. Like, I don't know. It's kind of hard for me to gauge because I just like inhaled it. So I just played it. And yeah, so, I mean, I'll just talk on the story first because we touched on the mechanics last week. But the story is essentially you as a me character, someone you design. You are a amateur golfer trying to, make it big, get into the sort of big leagues with Mario and Bowser and all these, pro golfers. And the story is essentially you moving from course to course, just trying to level up your badge, which I suppose is how almost like a tiering system of like, when you get to gold or platinum, like you're a pro. So the whole adventure is you just on this pathway to, leveling up this badge by, completing qualifiers or tournaments on courses, proceeding through the game. And all the while, after every game you play, you level up. So it's got some light RPG mechanics, and you use the points you acquire to improve things like how far you can hit, what your stamina is like, which plays into speed golf, which I'll touch on shortly. How much you can spin the ball, things like that. And it's quite cool. It's quite satisfying after every tournament you get 3 or 4 levels and you put those points into something, or, you spread them out however you want to. But then throughout the campaign, the game makes use of the various game modes that, the package comes with, including, like I just mentioned, speed golf. So speed golf is essentially, I suppose, this specific game's calling card or special spin on the franchise, where you hit the ball and you have to run to the ball to play your next shot. You don't just traditional golf or just traditional Mario Golf. You hit the ball.
Definitely doesn't work like that.
Definitely doesn't work like this. Yeah, normal golf, you get into your cart, you drive there. But speed golf is you hitting your ball and racing the other characters to essentially finish the hole before everyone else does. It's They split out the modes in like you can either do it purely by time, how long does it take you to finish a hole, or a combination of what was your time and how many shots you took.
Okay, I was going to ask that.
Lots of different variations on that.
Okay.
So like on paper, it sounds cool. Like it really, I mean, and the game starts out fine. Like it's not groundbreaking by any means. I didn't find it particularly like, wow, I can't believe this is such a grand adventure, a cool campaign. But it's just weird because the more you play, you start to feel how disjointed the story mode feels. Like, for example, you'll get to a course where you do training and they're like, oh, cool, we're going to give you this club where it'll allow you to hit the ball really low so you can skim it across water. And you go, oh, okay, like that's cool. So when I get to a course where there's a lot of water, I'll skim the ball over. And you learn this and then you use it maybe once and you never use it again. Because the next course is like, there's no water, for example. It's like,
okay.
So like it's weird in that you can go to Clubhouse and buy different clubs that do different things, but you never really make use of them. Like it's very RPG light. It feels like they could have leaned more into if you buy this club, you could do this, or, make sure that when they do introduce something, you kind of have to use it, or, it's more integral to the overall experience. And then like I'd say 80% through the campaign, things just go, like the story takes a twist out of nowhere. And the story, it becomes like very fantastical, if I could describe it like that.
Oh, is it? Okay.
And I'm like, this is so left field. Like, why did they not just start the game like this, or just not include this at all? So
Bowser gets replaced by actual
It's-
Doug Bowser.
wow, imagine that would have been a twist and a half. So look, I think if you're going to this game for the story, I'd say keep your expectations in check. It's by no means a great campaign mode. Like, not in my opinion. Like, I had fun still, but it's not something I'm going to think like, wow, this is my game of the year. Where this package shines for me is just the normal golf, where it's you against friends or you playing by yourself, just hitting the ball, as a traditional golf simulator. In that regard, I think the game does very well. Like, it's very easy to pick up and play, but there's just enough depth there if you want to lean into it to try get fancy with spin shots and curving and whatnot. It's like, for example, last week after we podcasted, that evening, Lenska and I played a game, and I taught her how to play like in 5 minutes, and then we played. And despite me having played a few hours already, we still drew, which to me is like, it shows how accessible the game is. I wasn't being kind. I wasn't like, oh, I'm just going to give her the advantage. It's just that accessible that she could play very well from the get-go. So yeah, it is fun. Like, as an overall package, I do enjoy it, but don't pick it up thinking the story's going to blow me away because it really isn't.
I hope they start adding more courses through the rest of the game's life.
There's 5 or 6 courses. Listen, you and I still need to play on the last course. I played with Dragon, good friend of the show. We played the last course, and there's some wild obstacles, and putting on those greens is just like impossible because the slopes are unprecedented.
Unprecedented.
You land, you're like, how can anyone humanly hit this ball in?
That just sounds like they took ideas from putt-putt courses. You're going to play a putt-putt course with your family, you're on holiday, you're having a great time, then you get to that fucking hole where it's just like 2 ramps after each other. And as soon as you fuck up, then it's like all the way back to and then you realize actually no one likes putt-putt because of that.
I mean, I like putt-putt.
But I love putt-putt, but that hole, those holes, the course always has one of those. Always.
Yeah.
And it's bullshit.
But even on that, as an example, just to go back to the story, at one part of the story, it's like, oh no, there's a boulder in the way. But if you use a power shot, maybe you can break through it. You're like, shit, that's awesome. You power shot, it breaks the boulder. So in my head, I'm like, okay.
Did you try this in an actual golf game?
Yeah, it's like, well, they imply that your power shot can go through obstacles. I'm like, well, there's a tree in the way. Let me power shot through it. Nope. It's just, I don't know. It's weird. It feels like there's some good ideas there that just weren't carried through consistently. I don't know. Like, even the fact that the story changes like 80% of the way through makes me think that they had something in mind, and then someone is like, no, we need to do this, and it was more like a last second, like, oh shit, okay, let's put this in. Like, I don't know. That's just how it comes across. I don't know if that's necessarily what happened, but it feels that way. So like it's a miss there. But again, in terms of just arcade golf, like 100% really good fun. I'm really enjoying it.
Yeah, I dig it as a multiplayer thing, and it's very low maintenance. You know what I mean? I can play it while watching TV with friends, and it's fun. Like, if you just want to kill some time, I think it's great for that. So yeah,
that's Mario Golf. Super Rush.